I know PPTs can be boring. PPTs can be boring when because you spend literally half of your life in attending all of these PPTs. But I'll try to make it engaging. So stay rest assured about it. So if you guys can see the screen, just say yes or you can give a thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
Can see the screen? Okay. So Dhanashri came to me. I mean, there were few colleagues from our MCOM team who came to me and told me, Raunak, there is a long time since you haven't come to college, and so Dhanashri reached out and she told me, Raunak, you need to speak on this topic. I rather told her if the audience is planning to go for their PG or they would be entering their corporate world, I would rather speak about this. So that's it from to start with, guys. Just a little introduction about myself. My name is Raunak Damle. I'm currently working in the syndication and structured finance team at Tata Capital. Basically, what this means is being on the debt capital markets. Okay, you deal with all investors and customers at the same time. Before this, I was working as a senior manager in the MD's office. That is basically directly working with the managing director of Tata Capital Housing Finance. And prior to that, I did my MBA. And prior to that, I was in HR college, one of you. So it is a very nostalgic moment to just be on this side of the screen after a few years. So here we start. What do you all see below? Is while I know it's blank, but what do you guys see anything below? Anyone? Chalo, I know it's a Saturday morning, plus it's raining very heavily. So you might not even want to get out of your bed, but a little thumbs up will not do any problem. So if you guys don't see anything below, well, that's not a glitch. That's your mind right now. Okay. It's it's calm. It's bovine. The long Independence Day weekend is giving you guys that breather. Okay. It's clean. Like there is no thought to it. It's just pure. But when I actually transition to the next slide, that is how your mind will be on a Monday. Okay. Monday meaning your 18th of August. That is how your mind will enter when you start hearing your parents telling about any competition from Sharmaji's son, or you entering a discussion कि यार जॉब करूँ या दोस्त का एक स्टार्टअप है उसमें घुस जाऊं, और योर पेरेंट्स अगेन टेलिंग यू यार तुम एमकॉम ही कर रहे हो, अभी एमकॉम के बाद क्या कर रहे हो, एमबीए कर रहे हो, और योर फ्रेंड्स टेलिंग यू यार मेरा तो सीए हो गया, तेरा सीए से कब हो रहा है. So this is a part and parcel of your life, guys. I mean, everyone here. This is something I'm sure there will be few people from bachelors also here, right, Dhanashri? I'm sure there are one or two people from bachelors.
Yes.
And I think major set is from the masters, correct? The MCOM batch.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I think you guys will be then the most relevant audience here. Of course, even the bachelor students will be. So this is you right now, okay? Which is what I was literally 5 to 10 years back. I used to, there was like a vicious circle. There are two things, virtuous circle and vicious circle. Virtuous is positive, vicious is negative. It is like a never ending loop, which I was also trapped in. But it is just about time. With time, you will realize that this circle was just for those 1 or 2 years. And then once you transition, this is what you enter. Okay. So this is what exactly your mind will also be, where you will think, yeah, I'm not an MBA. Can I still get into investment banking? I'm not a CA. Can I get into corporate finance, or can I get into anything with finance? Or I'm not a CFA. So treasury वगैरह कुछ करूंगा, but forget all of that. This is you here, okay? The blue dot, peaceful, without anyone's hindrance, okay? And this is the 99% opportunity that is still left for you guys, okay? So take one thing in your mind, that regardless of you doing an MBA, CA, CS, CFA, there is no agnosticity that यार मैं ना ये करूंगा तो मैं investment banking ही करूंगा. So first, before you even start with our session, you remove that notion from your mind which tells you that अरे यार ये कर पाऊंगा क्या. No, anyone can do anything, okay? Literally anyone can do anything. I will tell you one interesting story before I go to the next slide. When I was in HR college, okay, day one of my HR college. So there is this thing, okay, you never know who's your friend, who can be your boss tomorrow. Okay. So apparently there was this guy in my batch. Okay. He was amazing in accountancy and all. But day one of my FY BCom lecture, he sits next to me. Okay. And you would never know that 3 years later, he would be my boss at Ernst and Young when I was working as an analyst there. So Dhanashree, maybe Om or anyone from who's sitting right next to you can be your future boss tomorrow. So there is an endless opportunity for you. Okay. Now, since I'm transitioning to the next slide, did I actually fare well in this never-ending loop of education? Because practically speaking, I was also just like you guys. Okay. To give you a funny incident, there was how many people here know that there was this movie Koi Mil Gaya? Does anyone know यार कोई मिल गया करके एक बढ़िया सा मूवी था जादू पता है
Yes,
किसको
sir.
okay so I had this weird thing that कोई भी movie आ जाएगा ना I used to get inspired by that incident and I used to land up choosing a profession just similar to them so कोई मिल गया आ गया 2003 में उसके बाद I watched it I wanted to be a space engineer okay then I think around 2008 9 or 7 Om Shanti Om आया था then I thought can I be an actor because इंडियन तो खून में ही होता है एक्टिंग जो घर पे करते हैं वो खाली स्टेज पे करना है बट देन नहीं देन 2009 में थ्री इडियट्स केम वहां तो मुझे इंजीनियर बनने का शौक हो गया देन वी हैड दिस अमेजिंग मूवी जिंदगी ना मिले दोबारा वेयर ऋतिक रोशन वाज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर बहुत पैसे मिलते हैं तो कान खड़े हो गए माय इयर्स वर पॉइंटेड टुवर्ड्स इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग बट अगेन people told me in my journey that no you need to do CFA you need to do CA but it is nothing of that sort. Trust me. I also went to another extent in 2011 or 13. Jolly LLB आया था. I was this near to also becoming a lawyer because my parents told me, Raunak, you quarrel a lot. You just enter the high court and you will win every case. So I was like, ठीक है. And then after that, I started my bachelor's, FY BCom कर लिया ऐसे ही. And before that, I was also into sports. तो पता नहीं था क्या करे. So once I was done with my HR college, I joined Ernst and Young. Okay. Ernst and Young के बाद, this is exactly what happened in my life. And so this is not an ulta 8 by the way. It is a infinity loop which you have in your movies or your all of your series jo aajkal jo which is very popular. So I entered this infinity loop, okay? Funny part was in my infinity loop, I was not the only character. There were my parents, there were my teachers, there was my boss, I mean my EY boss, and then there were some Jani Dushman slash Khadu's dost also. Okay. Used to prompt me, Raunak, tu ye kar. But it never worked out for me. So this is exactly what happened. People used to tell me, यार तुमने MBA abroad कर लो, life set हो जाएगी. Then some people used to tell me, do CFA, CMA, ACCA. मतलब, I was at that juncture that I did not even know what these things mean. Just it sounded cool and funny. Some people also told me, यार तुम अपना industry change कर लो. तुम कहाँ गए इसमें? Some people also told me, yaar, your dad is also into business. Why don't you do any of that? And then when I was in EY, my bosses, so of course, yeah, your bosses would never ask you to leave any job. They told me work for 5 years. उनके लिए तो easy है. They're returning an employee. But that's not the end, guys. I did my MBA abroad through SP Gen, where I was sure कि कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लूंगा. Because with time I realized that you don't need any degree. I mean, of course you need a degree to do something, but when you go global, okay, the exposure is different. I mean, when I was doing my MBA in SPJN, I was in Dubai for a period of 12 months. For the first After the first 6 months in Dubai, I was heading a finance domain in a startup in Dubai which was funded by the Sheikh of Dubai. Because in the working industry, for you to get down the line, that degree is merely that key to enter those waters. What you have to do later on is totally up to you. Like no one is going to tell you, यार तुमने CFA किया है, okay, ये लो नया job. No, for it is important for you to convert. In my workplace today, I have a CFA. CA and MBA combined, okay? But still, he is slightly less confident about many of his deliverables that he does. But instead, there is someone who's just an MBA or just a CA, but he's confident. And with this thought, I believe there is this one strong ideology जो मैं follow करता हूँ, आप लोग भी follow कर सकते हो. So a weak mind, okay, can never take care of a strong body, but a strong mind can always take care of a weak body also. Okay. So after that, MBA ho gaya, and I landed up a job in Tata Capital. But friends, this infinity loop is not just a simple diagram, but it is a realization for you guys that you do anything. There is no hard and fast rule कि यार मुझे ये करना है, लोगों ने बोला ये करना. No, take your time. There is, I mean, I have friends, okay, today in Tata Capital, who literally are 35, 40, who have changed their careers over the time. Like एक पहले था इंजीनियर, okay, वो थ्री इडियट्स में एक डायलॉग सुना है सब लोग ने. पहले, okay, maybe Arman can tell me that dialogue. पहले इंजीनियरिंग की, then anyone, does anyone remember that? Come on यार, इतना ही बुरा मूवी नहीं है वो. ऐसा ही कुछ था ना, पहले इंजीनियरिंग की, फिर MBA की.
इंजीनियरिंग की, उसके बाद अमेरिका में बैंक में जाके नौकरी कर रहा
Yeah. वैसे बहुत नमूने मिलते हैं इंडस्ट्री में. But यार, these people are also doing something by their choice. Okay. Today, my sister, she started doing BMM. Okay. She later on figured out that that is not my forte. After doing BMM for 3 years in journalism, she figured out that she's actually interested in becoming a chef. She spent those 3 years. उसके बाद और 3 साल उसने बिताए, and she landed up becoming a chef today, and she's an amazing chef who's in some part of the world enjoying her life. So there is no certain age, but only thing is, don't get caught up by anyone's view कि यार तुम ना यही करो. In my view, many people told me, why are you going to SPJM? It's expensive and the whole thing. But again, everything has its pros and cons. The kind of things that I got out of it were favorable for me, which gave me the life I want today. So it's all up to you how you look at it. So now, since we spoke about a little about what your future degree and PG would look like, let me also share a small story about what world wonders have done in our corporate life. Okay. यहाँ पे कितने जन, by the way, who are working? May I just get a raise of which companies you are a part of? Maybe you can just name which company you are a part of. So I'll get a view that what you guys are doing. Maybe we can start with. So guys, I'll pick out people. Huh? I'm sure you guys don't want me to do that. Okay, Sujal, which are you working, or you're a part of just the college?
Actually, I do have an entertainment company, so I do consultancy for the venues.
Acha, very nice.
Yeah.
ठीक. So you're your own boss. Okay, I'll not complain you that. Okay, Devanshi, what about you?
Actually, I work for a publicist. It's a PR and communication company. So I'm a performance media analyst there.
I'm not merely asking you guys to. Actually, there is something very relevant story that will come across you guys. That is why I'm asking the company. Darshan, how about you? Darshan Hirawat.
Not yet. I am a student.
अच्छा, you yet to. चलो तुम बच गए. Okay, then maybe Tanvi, how about you?
Yes, sir. Can you repeat the question?
Which are you currently working somewhere, or you're a part of just the college, or what are you
No,
working?
I'm not. I'm not currently working. I'm just a part of college.
This is a part of college. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Varsha Reja?
Yeah, so I'm working with Care Health Insurance, and yeah,
Okay.
I'm a manager over there.
Okay, very nice. Chalo, last person. Okay, Khushi Chandra, where are you working?
Sir, I'm a student. I'm in bachelor's.
चलो आप भी बच गए खुशी. So I'll start. Before we go ahead, how many people here know have an iPhone or love the brand Apple? I know everyone loves the Apple, so you can just do this. So I will know what you guys are referring to. Okay. So Devanshi love that. Like maybe you have an iPhone, and that's what I'm assuming. Okay. So how many of you here know that there was something known as a Sony Walkman many years ago, like I think around 1980s? Do you guys know that there was this big device, which had good number of songs, but it was like a very big device, which was called Sony Walkman. Anyone? Kuch? Maybe I'm talking to the Gen Zs or Gen Alphas, so you guys will not know all of this. But यार मैं भी इतना भी बुढ़ा नहीं हूँ यार, जब you guys are making me old. But there was this Walkman, okay. So what happened was this led to the invention of iPod. जो iPod हम देखते हैं अभी, and of course now so you don't need an iPod, everything is in your phone. But the iPod that we had, it was actually a lab experiment, which was mistakenly came to light. Okay, so apparently one day Steve Jobs visits his office. He tells his team that look, Sony Walkman had done that. Why can't we do this? Then the team tells Steve, come on, don't joke with us, be practical. This is a very, very small device that we are building. Sony Walkman is this big. You can fit good number of songs. So apparently, Steve Jobs was holding that prototype in his hand, okay? And he was just going there to grab his coffee, and that prototype fell into the fish tank, okay? Prototype fell into the fish tank. Prototype meaning एक उसका जो iPod दिख रहा है, उसका एक basic सा raw material of that, which has life, but it is not designed yet, okay? So that fell into the fish tank, and everyone looked at it. Steve, what have you done? This is our millions of dollars of hard work and blah blah blah. Then Steve looked at it carefully, and there were bubbles coming out of that iPod. Okay, and that's where he told them that, guys, there are bubbles coming out of this iPod, which means there is enough space to fit another million songs. And that is how you have that little device that you can fit into your wallet or anywhere today, which has tons of songs. And that is how this iPod came into place. How it can be related with corporate life? You guys have used a pen drive. Pen drive to use क्या रहेगा? Or you guys have directly gone to WeTransfer. At least I have used a pen drive. Okay, I have come from a 1 GB pen drive to 2 GB pen drive to 16 GB hard drive to one terabyte ka hard drive, and to the OneDrive link that we use today. And that is how data compression is used today. So one mistake in those days led to a beautiful invention today. And that is how exactly the corporate culture is all about. It is about new inventions, which leads to something new. So on the right side, who is it? Any guesses? It is a swimmer, of course, but it has a name. Any guesses?
Michael Flip.
Yes, absolutely right, Karthik. He's Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is like Sachin Tendulkar of your swimming. Of course, these are two different geniuses and legends, so I'll not compare anyone. But what happened here was amazing. Okay, so this is a simple story about the uncertainty at an incident which led to something beautiful. Okay, so stories such that यहाँ पे has anyone seen the Beijing 2008 Olympics? Any sports enthusiasts here? Anyone? Okay. Okay, मैंने भी नहीं देखा है, so I will also be a part of your parade. But I did watch the highlights, okay? So what happened in the 2008 Beijing Olympics was Michael Phelps technically ruled the 400-meter swimming arena, okay? I think the butterfly stroke that he used to go for. He was a winner by heart. But that day, something different happened. That day, his goggles broke. And in swimming, if your goggles break, you are doomed. Because practically, when your goggles break, you become blind in the water. Okay. The ones who know swimming here, if you enter the water and for more than 30 seconds, then the water will enter your eyes and it's boom. But Michael Phelps still won that day. So this is a lesson on uncertainty. Basically, there is a simple saying, okay? Preparing for the worst to give the best. Because when Michael Phelps was small, one fine day his coach saw goggles in his bag, and he was swimming. So apparently Michael Phelps forgot his goggles and he was swimming without it. Okay. since he was swimming without it, any coach, okay, what would any coach do? He would simply take the goggles and give it to Michael Phelps that Michael, take this, you forgot this. But this coach did not do it. He intentionally wanted him to know how he's responding to a situation to make him ready for uncertainty tomorrow. Okay. And that fine day, Michael Phelps won that race. So with time, Michael Phelps used to black permanent mark his goggles because he just wanted to be ready for uncertainty. And that is how things will happen at workplace or your PG. Okay. You might give an application, but tomorrow the MBA college tells you that, boss, look, this application does not suffice. Sorry, try next year. Or you imagine landing up going for a job interview. Okay. There are 3 rounds. First round is your basic aptitude. Second is a group discussion, and third is one-on-one interview. In your one-on-one interview, they ask you about any random thing which you are unaware. That is again uncertainty. So it is surrounded by you guys, and this will come to you at workplace. Honest speaking, when I was in my earlier role in MD's office, it was all about uncertainty for me because anything that I would do, I had to be ready. It was like a soldier at that war front. Kuch bhi hai, you need to be ready. Like one fine day, I was asked to make a presentation, and that presentation was 30 days later. Practically, when you have something 30 days later, like you guys have a black book, 30 दिन में देना, ठीक है. 29th डे पे रात को बैठूंगा, 30th डे के मॉर्निंग को भेज दूंगा. Is what our mindset is, okay? As a student, even my mindset was just like that. But workplace में नहीं चलता है. First day, I was asked, Raunak, what is the status? I told him that the rough cut is ready, okay? The next day I was asked, Raunak, what is the status? I was told that the rough cut is almost done. Third day, he asked me, Raunak, what is this? I told him it's ready. Fourth day, apparently my window crashed. And the investors had come at the same time. Of course, luckily, out of somewhere, I had apparently saved that PPT on my colleague's laptop as well, and that saved my day. Okay. So be ready for uncertainty anywhere in any way possible. Now, there is a small video that I will like you guys to watch first, and then maybe we'll discuss on it. But it's a very interesting video, a very interesting story about something that you should not do if merely you have been doing it for 10 years. It's not necessary that you should do the same thing again for the next 10 years. So here we go. If you can hear the audio, okay, I'm just checking. Just give a thumbs up, that's all. Okay, I'll start. You guys can hear the audio? No?
No, sir.
Tanvi, can you hear the audio?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll just share my screen again. Just give me a minute.
A roast
Can you hear
dinner.
it?
Now, as she readied the lamb to roast, for the lamb to go into the oven, Tom watched her cut off the shank and throw it into the bin. Now, the shank is the portion just above the knee, which usually contains less meat and has more sinewy fibers. Now, his future mother-in-law then placed the tray in the oven. Now, Tom loved that portion of the lamb that had been cut off, and so he was bewildered. He asked her why she did that, and her reply was, "We always do that." He didn't say anything else as he didn't want to make a scene, especially as this was his first time that he was meeting her. Now, a year or so later, his new wife was preparing a lamb roast. Now, just as her mother had done previously, Tom's wife removed the shank and disposed it. Unable to contain himself, he asked, "Why did you do that?" And her reply, "You've always done that." But he persisted and said, but why? And she said, "I don't know. That's what our family has always done. That's what my mother has done. That's what my grandmother has done. And that's what I do." Now, years later, Tom and his wife were visiting his wife's grandmother in her home where she had lived for nearly 50 years. She too was preparing a lamb roast. Tom watched her remove the shank and throw it into the bin before placing the tray with the rest of the lamb in the oven. So he politely said, "Forgive me, I don't mean to be very rude, but can you tell me why you did just that? Because even my wife and her mother just does that." She said, "Of course I can. This old house has only it could fit only a very tiny oven, and I can't fit the entire roast with the shank still attached into this tiny oven." Now, the grandmother did something out of necessity. The mother and the daughter just followed with a belief that that's the only way it can be done.
So, did you guys get what the video was?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
basically I had seen a video of Steve Jobs kind of explaining the same concept at a point where basically he saw that the accounting would always make certain assumptions and then correct them at the end of the quarter. So
Correct.
he always asked like why are they doing this? What is the reason behind it? And they said these are the standard set procedures, and basically they can't really figure out the exact unit economics of whatever product they're creating. So
Correct.
so then he's like basically why not just figure it out? And eventually they did with the MacBook and probably other Apple products.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So it's a simple example, guys, and this is not a philosophy that I'm teaching. I'm no one to teach philosophy. I'll just try to relate this with your life here. So how you relate it is one simple line: old ways won't open new doors. Don't assume that यार CA ही CFO बनते हैं या CFAs ही CFO या कुछ बनेंगे. No, that is not the case. Here, Devanshi also can be a CFO tomorrow if she is in the finance field. Even Om is a investment banker today. He can also be a CFO. There is no hard and fast rule. I know many CFOs in the industry who have started as just a BCom grad, did their masters very later, and now they are CFOs. So there is no hard and fast rule that यार ये ऐसे हुआ मतलब ऐसे ही होएगा. Okay. Second is high salary will not come from day one. Okay. Of course, on this call I can't disclose many things, but of course if and when we connect one-on-one later, we can have a discussion. But when I joined DY, you guys would know how things start at a very low level. Okay. I mean, there are many people here who might know the placement cell already. So it does not come from day one. It is just an act of compounding. Okay. Not all finance jobs are glamorous. Okay. You merely see the finance lingo, but you have to stay endless nights when it's month end, or if it's quarterly closing. Like if you're doing GST, there are three GSTs. GSTR 1, that is 10th of the month. GSTR 3B, that is 30th of the month. And GSTR 990, that is your annual return. So it is a very high risk job where you're accountable for every number. But again, it's beauty of it. Again, another backside to this is if you're a CFA or CFA, people think that they're set for life. No, guys, that's really not the case. I have 3 to 4 resumes of CFAs and CS floating towards my desk, and they are not getting hired. So take a note of that. Merely you're a CA or a CFA, that does not mean you're set for life. Another is global roles do not mean high pay. Okay. So let me again make it interesting for you guys. When I was in SP Gen, my first job that I secured there was in First Abu Dhabi Bank. Okay, in Abu Dhabi. People told me, Raunak, तुमको भी एकदम बड़े आदमी हो गए. That was not the case. What you think looks very flashy and quirky is really not the case. Of course, few global roles have a different niche, but just because you're doing a global role, that does not mean that you're having a high pay. Next is something very relevant for all of you. I think almost everyone here should relate with this. You merely are adding people, or you have those two options on LinkedIn. You follow or you connect with someone. That does not mean networking. Okay, guys. Networking starts actually when you drop a message. The way Dhanashri had dropped me that message on LinkedIn some time back. You send the request, then you make a ice-breaking opener, and then you connect. That is called connecting with people. Merely having 10,000 followers. Next is I will take you guys, since I've told you, also break few odds. Because you guys, what is the basic ask in the corporate life? Any idea, guys? What is the most basic ask? Anyone? Maybe Yusha Sayed, can you answer this? Okay.
Basically, how the individual approaches the problems or tasks.
Okay. Okay. Good. Not bad. Very good. How about you, Ria? What do you think? Ria Yadav. What is the basic ask in the corporate life at an NT level?
The experience which we can implement, not much, but at basic level.
Okay. What about you, Shivam? What do you think?
Discipline, I feel, sir. It's a basic ask because at entry level, I have seen people where they think that we are freshies, we are new joinees, people won't be harsh on us, and then end up regretting that if we would have been disciplined and keen on learning since day one, things would have been a bit different.
Okay, that's a good answer. Good answer. All answers are correct here. But let me now break the dilemma for you guys. Okay. This is what I call the 10% iceberg dilemma. Okay. This is merely not the Titanic story. Okay. Titanic डूब के 100 साल हो गए. So I'm not going there. This is a thing where you feel it is easy. Okay. You know that at the surface it looks very easy. But the reality is all about the root cause. Even Titanic sunk because the one at the top did not see that there is an iceberg. And point number two, they did not judge how intense that iceberg was. If they had done both of these things, it would still have been alive. Okay. So this is the simple thing, simple ask for any fresher today. I mean, it's like a cheat code to in entry level corporate life. Okay. 3 simple asks: adaptability to team culture. Adaptability does not mean that is you go one step beyond. These little things. Dimple, tomorrow your boss will not merely tell you कि flexibility चाहिए timings में. Because there will be a dire need when he will tell you that Dimple, today we want you to be there. But these things are there. What is the? I still want that one answer which kills everything. Like which is the showstopper, the root cause which I told you. Why do you go to work? To do something. And what is that? That is the answer. Anyone? Either it is everything is very clear or everything is all over the head. Okay. So it is nothing but it is the intent to learn. Okay. Bosses merely look at an intent from any individual who wants to learn something. That is all. Beyond this, there is literally nothing. Because if you have an intent to learn, I'll try to relate that with you. I have recently moved to a new role. Okay, that is syndication and structured finance. There are many things which I don't know because I have worked in a strategy role with the MD for 3 years of my life, and after that, moving to a business role was a big transition. My boss even tells me today that, Raunak, what is this? But one thing which is why at least I feel I'm surviving in the deep waters is because I still, despite getting hammered on small things, I still have an intent to learn that, yaar, ye to seekhna hai. Come what, I need to learn this. And that is the basic ask from bosses at any juncture. This is one thing. Speaking the right thing at your workplace or your MBA interview or even to your teachers is important. I believe because this is something that you can do in every nuance of your life. Imagine Sujal starts his day. He starts his day by going to the gym. Okay. And imagine Sujal goes to the gym and he has a personal trainer. Okay. he tells his personal trainer that आज ना मेरा मन नहीं है बैक करने का, मैं खाली कार्डियो करता हूँ because I'm slightly tired. I didn't get to sleep. He's communicating that. If he does not communicate, goes to the gym and his trainer tells him that Sujal, start. Sujal feels जाने दे यार, उसको बोलूंगा फालतू में दिमाग खाएगा. But again, he'll get more sick. He'll feel unwell and he'll miss his day next day at work or college. That is what it is about. And now just watch this small video. It is simply a resolution on what you guys can do. Again, if you hear the audio, please give a thumbs up. Can you guys hear the audio?
Yes.
So when I watched the video first, I found it informative and funny. Okay, so if you guys want to laugh a bit, you guys can, because the cute characters that I saw here, even I found it funny. But at every session that I've shown, people have laughed, but laughed with a good positivity that यार कुछ तो अलग देखा मैंने. Because in your daily life, you're fumbled around with so many important and serious things that we miss out on these little animated things which actually teach us a lot. So this is my personal learning which I use in my daily life, where I have to tell my maid that madam आपको यही बनाना because मुझे नहीं खाना है. Then she makes that. Okay. I tell my boss that boss, look, I'm tired. Can I please take a half day to me? That communication is everything, be it at your workplace, be it in an interview. Even interview le lo yaar. I was interviewing someone for some little thing, and I asked the candidate that, do you know what derivatives and structured products are? Since you are telling me that you know all about equity markets. He told me, I don't know, sir. While I'm a part of the interview panel, while I'm appearing for an interview for this, I don't. I was impressed by the answer. I told him, "ठीक है." I asked him something else. And that is simply the ask is communicate the right thing. One last thing to close our session with is there is a 3R model, okay, that I would try to use with you guys here, or maybe relate with you guys here. Anything that you feel that you have related with me in today's small session, you can recall them. Okay, recall every key takeaway from our session. I have already shared this presentation with Dhanashri. That can help you to get an essence of what things are, what it actually means. And again, after recalling, okay, if you are recalling it and if you feel yeah, scope hai, or I want to get more guidance on this, you can always reach out to me with any of this. And since this is my college and that is how it goes for me, families first. So if there is anything, then I'm always there to guys to help with. And I would like to end with a small quote. Again, this is from our great Steve Jobs. And this is from his 2005 Harvard graduating ceremony, where he was not a student, but he was invited as a chief guest. This simple quote changed my day, guys. Like, seriously, I was just going through my LinkedIn that day and I just landed up watching this Steve Jobs' video, which had this one line: "Your career is going to fill the last part of your life. So make sure it's something you want to make." My first slide where I told you because your friends are doing this, because your mom tells you, "Yeah, ye karo." But if you feel you can do an MBA, you can. If your friends tell you, "Sun yaar, don't reach out to him. he will not guide you the right way. But if you feel that, you can please do it. So that's it from my end, guys. I again want to apologize for keeping the session on a Saturday. But again, यार हम भी corporate वाले होते हैं. Saturday, Sunday is all that we crave for, and that is where we try to get these things on board. So that's it from my guys. Thank you so much for your support, and again, thanks a lot Infom committee for all your support. If you guys have any questions, you guys can. I think we still have 10 more minutes. You guys can ask it here. And again, there's my LinkedIn here, my contact number. If you feel in maybe your MBA or anything with your essays application or anything with a corporate extravaganza, you can always reach out to me. I'll be available. So yeah, any questions, guys?
So I have one question.
Yes, Arman. Tell me.
So like one if anyone would talk about the iceberg dilemma as such, like it says that for any new joinee that most aspects of the corporate lifestyle are unseen. So
Correct.
in a way, how can like young professionals like us like prepare themselves like for the hidden expectations of the workplace as such?
Okay, good question, Arman. See, one is for you to prepare, you can simply do three things. Okay, one is don't start your day one with a high spirit that ये भी करूँगा, वो भी करूँगा, वो भी करूँगा. Absorb it in. Get an essence of how things are flying around. And then my second point will be related to the first point, that once you absorb things, in front of your boss, don't, I mean, off tea from it. If you that, sir, ये आता है मुझे, ये हो जाएगा, that raises the expectations. Maybe the way you deal with that situation is you acknowledge, okay, I've noted this. If I have any questions, I'll get back. That shows that you're keen and you're invested in the whole topic. If you are slightly outcast, manager would feel इसको आता है ना, चलो ठीक है. Then I feel your learning stops there. Your boss might think, यार इसको पता नहीं. Sometimes, again, Steve Jobs had this beautiful line, stay hungry, stay foolish. If you, and which is what I'm doing in my current role. There are many instances where I go to my fellow colleagues and act dumb at times, but that does help. I merely go near them and ask them, boss, ye bata do. I don't know this. That 1% of that gap is covered. They tell you everything. Because when you approach someone for help, that makes a big difference. So you can keep these three things in mind.
Noted, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem. So I think if there are no questions.
No, I
Yeah,
have
sorry.
a
There's some.
question if you don't mind.
Please.
Yeah, so basically, what I wanted to ask was, so I have a cousin currently is working in consulting in Deloitte. So what I've seen is Deloitte has provided their
Okay.
employees with AI to use, like their own version of ChatGPT or whatever. So like its involvement is quite a bit in like anytime you need to analyze data or whatever. So how do you see
Absolutely.
this moving forward in the next 5 years or so, and how much can would AI potentially do your work for you, or how is this scenario right now?
Okay, great question. In fact, we had an AI training just 3 days back, so I can maybe relate to you very well. See, AI, of course, is a game changer. Okay, while it has just come 18 months back, it has made a big difference in our lives. The way I see it is, AI is like your personal assistant. Okay, but don't make it your, you don't be a slave of it. Make that your slave. The reason I'm saying this is you don't be a slave of it. Matlab, if today asks you that go and get with me because I was making a presentation again for my MDs. Used to crash because many people used to think from my manager that itna bhi nahi aata. But again, there was a big side to it that I learned that you are making it you're being a slave of it. Tomorrow if internet crashes, then it will not do good to you. So my suggestion is, AI has a mechanism which learns, okay, with time. It hallucinates a lot of data also. I have personally experienced that in every of my data sets. Maybe you use that to create a structure, okay, but the final work should be done by human, at least what I feel. And to answer your second question, how you see it move, how I see it moving is, it is moving in the right intensity. Earlier we only knew chat gpt. Now there are at least 4 to 5 other GPT modules, such as Perplexity, which is the new thing in the block. And there is Bard, there is Grok, there is Gemini, and there is Claude, and there is then again I think there's a new Swedish or some AI GPT model coming. So that will keep going. Now you might have seen the news that Perplexity is trying to pay $34 billion to Google Chrome, despite them having a company valuation of $18 billion. So you never know, tomorrow you open Google Chrome, you would see Chrome is powered by Perplexity. So you have more chances to get lured by them, because earlier you had to go to Chat GPT. Now it's coming to you, coming to your browser. So my suggestion is, don't get lured by it, but use your mind parallelly. That's all I can say.
Got it. Thanks.
I have a question too.
Yeah, Dinesh.
So, as I'm working in the corporate, so we work in the team culture. So many a
Correct.
times, my manager asked me that be more visible. So, what do you think I should do to stand out? Obviously, we are working with the team and we need to work with the team. But what will help me personally to, go up the corporate ladder?
Okay. So maybe by which company do you work in, so I can relate? Is it a
Uh,
consulting company?
no, it's a PR company. Have you heard of Publicis? Like,
Yeah, I know Publicis. So it's
yes.
into
So,
PR and ads and mass
yes. So
agency
I'm
work.
under the media section.
Media.
Hmm.
See, Publicis as a company, maybe the way you can approach it is, I think your boss is relating to you being visible. Do you ask less questions, or
Uh, yes, like we have a connect with the clients on a weekly basis. So I think it refers to be more vocal on the client call or put yourself out there.
maybe there is a thing that you can slowly start asking questions. Maybe that's why he wants you to be more visible,
Hmm.
because visibility has two things here. Okay, if you're working in a consulting end and you're working on a client facing role, okay, consulting is where you deal with literally corporates. Okay, like today KPMG or JP Morgan or BCG is helping any entity on any project. For them, being visible is delivering, speaking, showing that this is what BCG is doing. But maybe on the marketing side or the publicist side, seeking to your clients things and standing out is what your boss's expectations can be. So try to stand out by asking good questions, by responding. Even if you don't ask questions, the way few people here, I'll not name any, but you guys have been very good in responding, at least nodding to whatever I'm saying. Try doing that. It shows that you are attentive in the whole forum. So you can do these two things to start up. If you need any more help, you can always to connect with the session.
Sure. Thank you so much.
No problem. I think if there are no questions, Dhanush, you let me know. You give me you're the
Yes.
organizer here. You give me a heads up.
Yes, guys, in case anyone has any other questions, you all can drop it down in the chat box or you all can unmute yourselves and ask the questions. We have also added the attendance form for the session today. So kindly fill out that form, which helps us track your attendance across the series and helps us allot you the certificate at the end of it as well. We'll wait for another 1 minute in case you all have questions, or else we'll go ahead with the end of session.
Hi, I had a question.
Yeah, Ji. Tell me.
So, when I'm working in my corporate, actually, so the language that they use on Teams. So now I'm assuming Microsoft Teams used in corporate is like a formal forum that is given for colleagues to communicate with each other, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
at times, informal language is used, and by informal, I don't mean like any abusive language or anything. Everything is very casual. and very how do I say, it's not abusive, but at the same time it's not formal, it's very casual communication. So initially I was very confused whether I should use the same language or not, like what should be my point of view here.
So very interesting and tricky. I encountered with similar things in my EY stint, but the fruit of the pulp is just because someone is trying to be informal or casual, if you as an individual are trying to get in, see, there are two things here, okay, which I also used to feel that if I'm being very formal, he might get a different perspective of me that, अरे यार रौनक बहुत बहुत boring आदमी है, एकदम boring uncle है, he does not communicate well. But again, I feel don't merely sacrifice your own personal identity for the sake of you to get in. Until a certain limit, it is okay. But again, if it's reaching the top of the bucket, you should be who you are as Jia Jain and not merely do something because others are doing to get into the forum. So that's my suggestion. But again, don't again seclude yourself, because that will dampen your corporate ladder or your entire daily life cycle. But again, try to stay neutral. That's what I can tell you.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Everyone, I would request you all to switch on your cameras once so that we can create this one memory by taking a picture for all of us together. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anashri, for the invitation.
On behalf of MCOM committee, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for joining us today and sharing your insights. I am being very honest, but we have learned a lot, many practical takeaways that we can carry forward. I would also like to thank our faculty in charge, Ms. Dharti ma'am, our OC, that is our organizing committee, and all the participants for joining us and making this session meaningful. And with this, guys, we conclude episode 1 of season 5 of the Master League lecture series. We look forward to your continued support and participation in the upcoming sessions. Thank you once again. And if you are left, you can fill out the attendance form, which will be shared again in the link on the chat box.
Thank you guys for any queries or anything. Once again, I'm one of you. I'm also not that old, okay? So you can always reach out to me. I'll try to relate with you as much as possible with anything, maybe anything with your PG or your, if you feel yaar Raunak ye ho nahi raha hai, can you guide me? Because I believe we are one family. That's how my seniors treated me, and I believe it is how it will go. So I'm just a message or call away. So feel free. Okay? Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.